Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, and today we're recording episode number 89, and we're talking about 12 easy updates you can make to your home. So for those of you not in tune with what's happening in the interior design world, get ready. Everyone in our industry is busier than they've ever been before and having trouble keeping up with the demand. So contractors can only take on so much work, and it's getting to the point really that most people may have to wait until spring to have a renovation done. It's not surprising with the recent pandemic and people being in their homes more than ever. The chair that was uncomfortable is being replaced. The dated paint colors are being updated. The money they were going to use maybe for a luxury vacation is being used for some long overdue home projects.
So we've got a lot to talk about today, but before we dig in and share some home projects that will make a huge impact in your home that you can do, we want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Curry & Company. Curry is mainly known for their lighting, such as chandeliers, pendants, wall sconces, table and floor lamps, and outdoor lighting, but they have an extensive line of furniture, upholstery, and accessories that is absolutely worthy of checking out. They've been in business for over 30 years. Their customer service, commitment to craftsmanship, and quality is what makes them our go-to source. So check them out, curryandcompany.com, and see what you see. Yep. You'll love them.
We love them. So let's just start with a couple of exterior updates. I mean, when I drive through a neighborhood, you can easily see where there's a home that has not been maintained or kept up with for not even just a few years, like many years. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things I think you can do is give your front door a pop of color. If you're really not that brave, maybe you just need to repaint it. But every time I drive by and I see a colorful door, it just kind of makes me smile. It makes you look like it looks very welcoming. So we're going to share with you some of our favorite Sherwin-Williams paint colors for doors.
All right. So one that you might want to try is 6430 Great Green. It's an easy green. It's not an emerald. It's not a hunter green. It's not quite a spring green. But it's a bright, nice green.
Yeah, and a lot of these colors might depend on the style of your home. You know, whether it's a brick home or it's stucco or whatever. So
and how picky your HOA is.
Yeah,
you know, mine. I wanted to paint it a totally funky color, and they said nope.
I'm still going to try to go under the radar and paint my door pink, but
yeah.
What's the worst thing that could happen? I'll have to repaint it.
And you can check out, is your house is still on our Insta page, right?
Yes.
Joanne did a full repaint of her house, roof replacement, changed the gutters to black. Everybody in our neighborhood's talking about it. It's on our Instagram wall, so go check it out. It's the white and black house, and it's amazing.
Yeah, so
she also wrote a blog about it if you want to check out everything she did.
Yeah, it really just gave our house such an uplift. I mean, the colors before were great. I mean, I've had other neighbors ask me if they can steal my color, and it was great. But it was a gray, and it had black shutters. But turning it to white, oh my god! Yeah.
Well, and it's one of those those expenses. It's like tires on your car. It's like, I got to paint the exterior of my house, but then you do it, and it's just so great when you pull in the driveway every day.
Well, the thing is too, if you do have a black and white house, any of these door colors would look amazing. Any one of these would work.
Yes.
So the next one is SW6680, which has the perfect name called Friendly Yellow.
I love 6606 Coral Reef. It's definitely coral, but it bends a little bit towards like begonia, like a little bit of, it has a little bit of pinky red in it. It's a happy color.
Happy color. And then this is the one that I'm going to try to sneak from my homeowners. It's called SW6596 Bella Pink.
And that's like a not a ballet pink, a little bit darker, but it's still darker than a blush.
Yes.
It's not a hot pink. It's not a bright pink. It's not fuchsia or anything like that.
It almost looks like a bright pink that faded. Right. So it's not jarring, but it's very, I don't know, soothing and pretty.
Yep, I like it. And then the last one we're going to offer you today is Sherwin-Williams 6220 Interesting Aqua. And that's just a good turquoise. It's just a good blue-green.
Yeah.
You got to love it.
Yep. Okay, so light fixtures. This is a little pet peeve of mine. My neighborhood, I think, has 700 or 1,000 homes, something like that. And some people still have the little tiny brass
I can't
that's
take
right
it.
next to the doors on either side of the door. They're corroded. Like,
Right.
It is time to
They're the ones the
change
builder
them.
put on that are literally like 7 inches tall by 5 inches wide.
Yeah, if even that big.
The light bulb barely fits in it.
Yes. So there are so many beautiful type of wall, like lanterns, which are just very basic. So you can always go bigger than you think, because you will see that that's one of the biggest problems people have, because the builder puts in really small things because they're cheaper. And so when they think it's time to replace, then they think that's the size, and it is not the size.
The big box stores have caught on. I mean, you can get these at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. But we like, I love Visual Comforts, Circle Lightings, outdoor lighting. We've used, so many. Rejuvenation has a great collection. What you want to do, though, is go armed with your measurements, because usually you have a lot of height, but you don't have a lot of width. It just depends on, unless you want to move the outlet or just how your house is constructed, those lights usually flank the front door and don't give you a lot of wiggle room. So you don't want to be touching your door. You want to get, you've got to have a little bit of breath there. But so go armed with your measurements, but go big and make a statement. They should never have been little in the first place.
Right, exactly.
So,
then door handles. I'm kind of guilty of this. I really need to replace my door handle. I'm just waiting for the Piink door to come first.
right.
And I really don't even know what the lifespan of these are, but getting a new style, there's a look for every style. There's modern, rustic, craftsman, and traditional, and even
There's lots. There's lots of different ones. There's, for example, at my lake house, I did a really, it's really contemporary, but we also have the keypad on it. So that's kind of ugly, but for us, we give people the different codes, and we know who's coming in and out. So, but that was cool when we did that. But yes, I don't think that people pay attention to door handles on front doors, and they also don't pay attention to the kick plate at the bottom if you have one, and how old it is, and how nasty it is, and how easy it is to change.
Yeah.
So definitely something to look at. The other thing that I did at my lake house that I just love is house numbers. And this is another thing that you just don't think about. But it's a great way to give your house a fresh look, whether the numbers are on your house, on your mailbox, on your curb, on your brick, wherever it might be. I used a company called Modern House Numbers, and they had such great ones. You can pick the size, the color, they have like 6 different fonts, but they're all very contemporary, modern looking. And my husband put them right in the door, and they look so great.
Yeah. And then for the traditional look, front gate.
Frontgate has a bunch, frontgate.com.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them too.
But those are things that I just don't think that people really think about. And the other thing that I would add is doormats. Joanne and I have this funny joke between us that when we come to the door, first of all, there's always a dog barking and she cringes because she can't get away from the animals and her allergies. But the next thing we always look at is, what does the front door look like? Because it really gives us some insight into the client that we're about to meet and how they take care of their home. So if there's dead plants in the pots, or the mat is fraying and nasty or too small,
the lights are corroded.
Then we're like, oh boy,
they need us.
Wow, do they need us? But when we go to nice doors, we're like, yes, this is gonna be a good client. So I always like to select a mat that is the width of the door, not smaller than the door, the width of the door. You can even go bigger. It just depends on how big your entryway is and what you got on either side. But a front gate is another one. They've got really great big mats, 36, 48. You can get them monogrammed, what have you. But go outside your door right now and look and see what your mat looks like, and look at your doorknob and look at your doorbell and give it a little update.
And fall is coming, so when those leaves start sticking to the doormat, please clean them off as well.
Yeah.
maintenance. It's just all about maintenance.
It's all about maintenance.
So some interior updates that you can do. Some of these require a contractor. Some of these you really could do yourself. Stair runners. I think this is such a great way to add personality to your foyer. Doing something that's patterned or textured. A lot of times when I say runner, I mean that it would go up the middle, and that would mean that you would have hardwood on the sides, but most people don't.
Or they have half and half. They might have some hardwood on the stairs on the first 3 to 4 floors, and then it goes wall to wall up the rest of the staircase, and that's totally fine.
Just still do it wall to wall.
Just keep it the way it is, because you don't have hardwood underneath. Yeah. Unless you want to go to the expense of creating it. But
pain in the neck. But
don't do it.
There's a lot of beautiful patterns, colors, and it's really an area that gets a ton of traffic. So it probably needs, if you've had that carpet for a long time, it probably needs to be replaced anyway.
Well, and I don't think that people even think about it. Like my friend Lisa was just saying, I need you to select carpet for my house. It's the builder grade. I got to get it out, and I need it for the stairs too. And I said to her, I think Ann was asking me about this too. And I said, okay, but we're not going to do your regular carpet that's upstairs on your staircase, because she's just going to do a basic because they're not going to live there that much longer. But I said, let's do like a patterned wool
and it was
or
like
something up the staircase.
To her, right?
She was like, oh, and then I said, and then while we're at it, if you want to, let's hardwood just your upstairs hallway, so that's your big traffic area. That's where it gets flattened, especially on landings. I don't know about you all, but I always, my Labrador retrievers, they love to lay on the landing. So the landing carpet was always icky.
Yeah.
So I put the wool runner up the stairs. I hardwooded the landing, kept going with the runner, and then when you got to the hallway, hardwood again.
Yeah.
So there's no point. I mean, if I were building a house, I would never have carpet, period. But if you do, and you're trying to refresh like we're talking about today, then that's a great recommendation.
I like carpet in bedrooms myself. And so, my hallway upstairs is hardwood. And then
you did that after the fact, right?
I did that after.
Yes.
And this way, it's a fine transition to the other rooms. And all the other rooms could even be a different carpet if I wanted them to be.
Right.
So, the next one, backsplashes. Now,
in kitchens?
Yes. There's usually not that much.
Right.
It's something you can get a real bang for your buck. There's so many options. You can go on to, for some great inspiration, go on to tilebar.com or thetileshop.com. And a lot of times they have galleries, or you can even go into House or Pinterest and say backsplash designs.
And you don't have to replace your countertops to change your backsplash.
Right.
So, and sometimes we see one or the other. Either the backsplash is fine and the countertop is way dated, or the reverse. But we're just talking quick, updates today. So that is something that you can think about. Now, another thing to think about when you're doing this is where your outlets are and how they're covered. So we were just talking about this to a client. The previous owners had thought they were being very savvy, and all of the outlets were in the bottom of the cabinets, which sounds amazing, but then you see the cords going up, so it wasn't that great of an idea. So all that she was going to do was replace the outlet covers. They were, they were just beige or something, and she was going to change them, but they can be hidden, recessed, covered in different ways. So just think about that when you're changing your backsplash.
And if you have a countertop that you don't really like and you want to distract from it, you could, and if it's very busy, let's say, do a subway or do something that's a little calmer, because a lot of times you'll see really busy countertops and then there's stone and all this craziness on the backsplash too. It's like your eye doesn't even know where to go. So if we're refreshing that, it might help you like your countertops a little bit more.
And
you have to live with them for a while.
Subway tile is a great idea because it's out there at all the Floor and Decors and the lesser expensive places that sell it. Do not get the 3x5 subway tile. Look for 3x7, 3x9, a little bit longer, skinnier. If you see a hand poured edge that has a little bit of a kind of a
wave,
a ripple or a wave on the ends, it looks very kind of Italian, ceramic. And then also think about your grout color. At my lake house, again, I have simple ivory. I wasn't going to spend a ton of money. I like a bisque color, hand poured, wide subway tile, and then I used dark brown. It sounds ugly as I say it, but it's so pretty. Dark brown grout, and it looks amazing. And it was really an inexpensive way for me to do, because I took it to the ceiling, and I went all the way up. So I just didn't want to do a super pricey tile.
Okay, I don't think we can talk. Have a podcast without talking about wallpaper because we love it so much. Now, this is one of those things that, if you want to try to do it yourself, just make sure that it's not the husband and wife team, because
unless you really know what you're doing,
many fights happen. So you need to probably get a professional. But some of the things that you can do if you don't want to do the whole room is consider wallpapering a ceiling. It looks great in a dining room or even a powder bath. That will give you just a little fun something to update.
I'm not a big fan of accent walls with paint, but I don't mind accent walls with wallpaper at all. I have one in my dining room.
Yeah, and I like them in a bedroom. Okay.
Yes,
the back
behind
wall
the bed. Behind the bed.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and powder rooms and laundry rooms, to me, should always be fun and cute and cool, and it's perfect for wallpaper, especially laundry rooms. You can go have a little fun. They're usually tucked down a hallway, and nobody, didn't have to worry about it flowing with the rest of the house per se.
Yeah.
So.
Another quick one is changing out your cabinet hardware. The builders are famous for buying, the
12 in a pack.
The 12 in a pack knobs, and then everything has a knob. And when you have, taller cabinets, or just even if you don't, it's like dot, 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 dot.
Yep.
So we suggest putting knobs on drawers and pulls on doors. And actually the pulls, you're seeing them longer. It just gives it a more updated look. It makes the cabinet, I think, feel taller. A lot of times I call them appliance pulls, but anything that's probably over 6 inches is probably a good way to go. And then you've got so many different finishes. One of our favorites, if you want to look at for inspiration, also is topknobs.com. And I
love their hardware.
Yeah.
They have great finishes and a great gallery for you to look at for inspiration, but definitely go bigger. If you're having your cabinets painted, take the opportunity to have your painter fill all the holes with some wood putty and sand it down, and so you can start fresh with new hardware. But definitely go bigger. And there's so many choices that may be overwhelming. I think the ones that maybe some people, the general kind of new builder one, or this is from ages ago, is kind of a 3.5. C. It says C to C, which is center to center. And you definitely,
I
think my hardware at my house, I got from Richelieu, RICHILIEU, I think.
Something like that.
And I want to say they're 9 inches. I've got really tall cabinets, but I had, they were all on doors, so you might go big.
And it can really determine the style of the kitchen. There are very modern, very sleek. Then there's real rustic type. There's the farmhouse look. Yeah.
And the number one question that's going through everybody's brains right now is, do I need to match it to the fixtures and my faucet? And the answer is no, you do not. I wouldn't do bright chrome with bright brass or antique rub brass or anything like that. But if you do black mixed with satin nickel, that's completely fine. And black, keep in mind, matte black looks so good
with everything.
And it goes with everything. So if you're really torn, do the black.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Moving on to furniture. This is, because this is the one big expense. But if your stuff is pretty good and you just need to update it, we've talked about this all the time too, is swap out the pillows. Look for the inserts. Where can a person go for good inserts? The average person. We know designers where we can get them, but
Pottery Barn sells good ones.
They do. Okay.
Yes, they do. And I kind of always look at, if I see, sometimes Home Goods Tuesday morning, I might not like the pillow, but I can feel the form is great. But
I find the opposite.
It depends. Yeah, you got to search. Yeah. You got to search. But Pottery Barn does have good inserts. I've ordered just from them before. Eastern Accents has great pillow inserts.
Yeah, I guess the public can buy those themselves.
Yeah, they're great. But that just makes the world of difference. And when you see the price, like we talked about in our last podcast, you might croak a little bit, but What a difference.
Buy the best and cry once.
That's right.
There you go. Okay.
That's right.
This is a different one. This is something that I bet most people have.
Okay.
Whether it be their dining room or their kitchen, have a table with 6 of the exact same chairs. So we try to break it up a little bit, doing what's called a host and hostess chair, meaning on the ends, doing something that might be upholstered, has arms. It's kind of like the heads of the table, and giving them, a little something different. Then you have 2 chairs on the one side of the table, and then on the other side, consider a bench. Now, if you're in your 70s or 80s, you need some back support. But for most young families and most people, they can sit at a bench for a little while. It just kind of breaks up that look. And a great way to keep your table, keep a couple of chairs without having to buy a whole set.
Right. I have a bench on one side at my house because I have a very, my family room is one, and kitchen is one massive room. So it's kind of like the lounge area is over here, the dining area is over here, and the kitchen's over here, and it's all in one massive room. So being cognizant of the traffic patterns, I put a bench on the outside side of my dining table just to keep the traffic pattern a little bit, easier going. So it worked out. I need back support, but at the same time, when we're entertaining, and I like to be on the outside closest to the kitchen so I can jump up and get things for people. So I kind of like the bench because I just throw my leg over and go rather than scoot my chair back, blah, 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 blah.
And if you have a family...
it's a cool look.
Yeah, and they have friends over, you can fit, a lot of little people on a bench.
A lot of little butts go on a bench. That's right.
Okay, here's something, and I'm ready to do this because I'm over my coffee table.
And I love your coffee table.
I've had it for 10 years.
Yeah.
I've had it for 10 years.
It's like my husband. He goes, "Are you going to get rid of me one day? You get sick of everything." I'm like, "You I'll keep, but everything else has a lifespan."
Yeah. Well, I did something a little different when I got this first one. The room was kind of narrow, and I really didn't feel like I wanted to put a big coffee table in there. And the sofa was pretty long. So I got a long bench, and used that as a coffee table.
And I love it.
And it's been great. But I want one that I can style a little bit. This is what I'm talking about. So if you get a big round one or a big square one, that's wood. You can put books on it. You can put a candle on it. You can get a pretty basket for the remotes. Yeah. And even if you do one that is upholstered, you can get a pretty tray to put, your coasters and all that kind of stuff on there.
So you're just jonesing to stylize a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. But I do think that I like the coffee tables that have two levels, so
books below
books
it
or
I'll tell you
what have you underneath.
Ballard Designs has got some amazing coffee tables. Mm-hmm. A few of them are out of stock right now. And we're finding
everybody
we're
has
finding that a lot. So, not to scare anybody or whatever, but if you're thinking about doing something or buying something, you better do it quick. Seriously, because
well, if you want to look good for Christmas, let's put it that way.
Yeah, because things are just not as available as they were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other thing that we love to do, we've been doing it for years and years and years, and I don't think it'll go out of style, and if it does, I don't care, is painting furniture. When we go to Scott Antique Market or we're out in a little thrift store, I have this thing for chairs. I see little chairs. If it has caning on it, I'm dead. But painting an antique chair. I mean, sometimes, don't get me wrong, we still love brown wood and we love the brown of antiques. But sometimes, just gives it a little jazz.
Yeah.
It's
a friend of ours had a little antique, little child rocking chair, and it was handed down from the mother, and that was very sentimental. And they painted it red and put it in their little grandson's room, and it's like tells the story. It's updated. It's not sometimes the wood is just kind of whatever. It's great to give it a punch of color and put it anything, even a chest, a dresser. To paint it a color. If you're really not using it and you feel like it looks dingy, that is one way to amp it up.
We had a client who had this perfect, this is Julie. She had this perfect media cabinet, and it had all this kind of fretwork on the front.
Yeah.
It was so cool, but was it originally painted? I think it was.
No,
it was just brown.
It was black, and the fretwork was kind of like a goldish, lighter
so
wood
it had
color.
A finish. It had a finish.
It looked dated.
It looked dated. Yeah, it was totally dated. It just wasn't her style anymore. But The size was perfect. It had a ton of personality. So we have a couple here in Atlanta who does all of our painting of our furniture, and they painted it kind of a taupey tan and then the fretwork was all white. I mean, brand new.
It looked like a brand new piece.
It was awesome. And I think it was $350 maybe to paint it.
Yeah.
So totally worth it. So that's just a whole lot of great, easy updates for you guys. I hope that wasn't boring and we could give you some quick notes and little things to do that maybe you wouldn't think about. But
we're home more.
Yeah. And it's the little things. They make such a big difference.
Yeah.
So you might as well go for it. At the weekends, there's always a weekend coming up. So do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Quotes. Let's hit it.
Kelly didn't think my funny quote. She didn't understand my funny quote. So let's see if you guys do.
Then when she said it out loud to me, I did get it because it is my husband and I. So.
Oh, yeah. And it's my husband and I, which is why I was like, okay, yeah, this is true. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I think, well, I'll tell you in a minute after I say it. Okay. So at every party, there are two kinds of people, those who want to go home and those who don't. The trouble is they're usually married to each other. And that's from Ann Landers. I would say it's usually the guy that wants to stay out and the girl's ready to get home. Like, I can go to a party. If I've socialized for 3 or 4 hours, I'm good.
You're good.
I start to think about my pajamas. I start to think about my soft bed. And then the friend will go, hey, Drew, you want another beer? And he'll go, yeah. And all of a sudden, he's getting the daggers. Like, I'm ready to go. He could stay the whole night. So.
Well, it's probably not surprising that it's the reverse for us. And Mike has this look that he gives me. Mm-hmm. It's like the eyes just get a little wide and it's all I need to know that he's done.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, dang, it depends. If I'm at a party where I have to stand the whole time, I'm out. Mm-hmm. But if I'm in a comfy chair and somebody keeps refilling my wine, just leave me there. Mike, you can get I'll find a ride home. Go on.
Yeah. Well, maybe you need to start going out with Drew.
All right. Our series quote. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. And that's Albert Einstein.
Genius.
And so simple, right? Just don't think about people or what they think or things or material or, just set a goal for yourself. Yeah. And that's the goal that's the thing about a happy life.
It's so interesting to me when I'm looking for quotes, for our podcast, I'll generally go to Instagram and there's the hashtag, quotes to live by, quote of the day. And so many of them, I feel like over and over and over is be yourself. Don't let people, and and I don't remember hearing that a lot when I was a kid.
We have to have it drilled into our brains,
yes,
too.
You wanted to fit in. You wanted to be like everybody else. And I feel like this generation is all about let your freak flag fly,
I love that. Well, you might have started following this one. I didn't. Startup Library.
Yes.
Did you start following them? Okay, because we share it Instagram. So I there's new. They have great quotes and they're all ballsy and I love it.
Yes.
Startup Library.
And Kelly started following Jamie from Outlander. So he keeps popping up.
Please, Sam, hello. I can watch you all day long. All right. Well, we have to run. We are off to visit 2 of our multifamily clients.
Speaking of multifamily, we did an install yesterday.
Yes.
We literally left our homes at 7:30 in the morning. We get home to almost 6:30. And this was this multifamily leasing center that we've been working on for 2 years. And we finally installed it yesterday. We still have a few little things to do. But it was funny because we were sitting, taking a little break and saying, I cannot believe I'm sitting in here and looking at this because it was a huge gray concrete shell
when we started.
And so I'm really proud of us for what we were able to. We've never worked on a project that big before from start to finish. So we'll be sharing it.
We will have it professionally photographed and it'll be on our website soon under our multifamily. So you can check it out. Yeah. But anyway, stay safe, everybody. Keep your wits about you. And I hope you're all healthy and well and you enjoy listening to us.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at CandrackCole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at candrack-cole.com for more information.